Hello YouTube, it's Conspiracy Boy here with the Carboot charity shop trade toy fair haul video. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since I broke the spell not uploading videos, and I fall behind already, so shame on me YouTube, I do apologise. I'll try and run things through in some kind of order, but the chances are I'm probably going to forget and you're just going to get it all slapdashed. But here we go. Oh, and apologies for the sound, which is really tinny today for some reason. But anyway, off we go. So first thing is these two items that I found in our local Tesco's. We don't have Tesco from us here, but when you travel to it, it's huge. They have cool slime tubs that were £2 each. They were out of stock of the Slimer, and none of them looked anywhere as good as the ones on the back of the card. I mean, these were literally the best of the bunch. They're really poor quality figurines, but I think the slime would be useful in old kits, maybe some of the Ghostbuster kits, maybe some of the old sort of, I don't know, Masters of the Universe and Turtles and stuff. It all just looks like slime, so that's good. I'll try and do the comic stuff first actually, because that's probably the coolest. So last week, or possibly the week before, I went to the NEC in Birmingham for a big toy fair they had down there. It's just over a 2-hour drive from me, and it's all motorway pretty much, so it wasn't too bad. It was quite a big thing and there was quite a lot going on. I really enjoyed myself. I'd recommend it to anyone. Obviously the prices are a bit expensive compared to the old car boot sales, but hey ho, there was a lot to look at. So the first thing I saw was this, which was a Freakenstein, sorry, from Small Soldiers. It's one of the few Small Soldiers figures I don't currently have, but wanted £15 for it. Oh, I've taken the sticker off the back. So yeah, it was a bit expensive. I said I'd think about it and come back, and really hoped I'd find someone selling it cheaper. Obviously I didn't, and it was probably the last thing I bought. Oh, everything's collapsing now. First thought was this. There was just a box of random toys, and I dug around and this fella was in there. Now at the time this leg wasn't attached to him, and he was just a one-legged skull fella. Said on the back 1982 Remco, but I just love the face and the mould, and yeah, he is probably one of my favourite bigs. So I took him out the box and asked the fella how much he wanted for the one-legged guy. I said I didn't mind that he only had one leg, that I was happy with that. And he said the leg was in the box, so we dug around, found it, and he said I could have it for whatever I'd like to pay for it. So I said £3 too little, and he said no, that was fine. So that was probably the biggest bargain of the day as well. Walked around a little bit, walked past these. Someone had a big bag of these turtles, all in beat up condition, no weapons, no belts, but still giant turtles. They were £10 each. Didn't buy one first time round, but the second time round I did. Likewise with this Movie Star Super Shredder. It's loose a little bit at the bottom and the card's bent at the top, so it was reduced from 15 to 12. Again, I walked past it the first time, and then second time round I thought, oh yeah, we'll have a look. Anyway, walked past someone who had a big box of toys that were just marked anything in here £1, and it just looked like mostly key rings. But when you delved in, there was some pretty cool stuff to be found. So I saw a couple of these, which I think are called popper lockers or popper shockers or something, where you can take their arms off and swap them out. Obviously this is the punk head and legs twice, and this one's got a different body. So we grabbed both of those. They also had this guy, which was one of the bad guys from Batman. I think he was called something like Bob the Goon, and then after I remembered and reminisced, they had it written there, Bob the Joker's Goon, 1989. So yeah, picked him up for £1. They also had this Lex Luthor. He was in there for £1. I wouldn't have recognised Lex Luthor there. They had this cool bootleg Batman who just has the worst face and legs imaginable, like held together with pins. Very unusual. So we took him for £1. This guy, which I think is Dragon Ball Z, I tend to see a lot of the Dragon Ball Z figures, but when they're small and PVC, this guy has some articulations a bit larger than I'd expect, so I thought he'd be worth £1. I picked up these two, who I don't recognise, but I thought they might have been from Dungeons and Dragons Advanced or something like that. I did have a look for some markings and they said LJN Toys 1984. That was on both of them. Maybe this one's 1983 actually, that little fella. But yeah, I took a gamble on it being those, and later on as I walked around the convention I saw this fella basically in this condition on someone else's stall for £8. So they were worth picking up for £1. And the last two items they had were these, which I forget what these were. I definitely had some as a kid and thought they were really cool, so I kept that for £1. And also this, thinks from Our Real Monsters. Whoops, sorry about that, guys. Some sort of key ring, which I think might be from Our Real Monsters. I really like the Our Real Monsters toys, so grabbed that for £1 as well. So that was another bargain at the NEC, and after that I realised I didn't need to be bargain hunting. There was really cool stuff there, and if I wanted it I was just gonna have to pay for it. So that was when I went back round and started buying some stuff up. And then I saw these guys. Now these are very much like some of the bootleg toys I already have carded, but they're much smaller. So I started looking at one, and the fella came over and started chatting to me, and he said he'd do them for a tenner a piece instead of £15 a piece. So we bought the two of those for £10 each. He also had this dude from Small Soldiers that he just threw him for free. He did have a £2 price tag on. I walked off and came back to him, and it turned out he had another stall where he had some cool stuff. He had some Ninja Mites that he had marked at £8 that he sold to me for £6. And he had this mail away version of Predator with all his instructions and all his like clip-on pieces. He just looked like a very translucent, cool Predator. So he sold me that one for £12. And then I said to him I'd been looking at this. Now I have seen one of these on eBay and it for about £42, which I just thought was mental money. And he had it at 50, and I said to him it was really cool, and he said because I'd been a good customer I could have it for 25. I probably shouldn't have bought it even at that price, but I did. And he is really cool. So yeah, he's going on the bootleg shelf alongside the bargain bootleg at £3. I'm really not upset paying £28 for the two of them, or whatever it works out being. So yeah, they were pretty cool. There was another fellow who had 3 for £5 bin. Had a rummage around and found these. There's a Transformer, what are they called? Pretenders, I think, something like that. And these two fellas from Blackstar that I don't previously have. Really wanted this guy for a while. I've seen him on a few other people's videos. I just like the size of him and the face, and yeah, I just think he's cool. And this fella, it looks like someone's tried stabbing him to death with a compass. He's got some serious puncture wounds, but once you're about this sort of distance he just looks like he's undergone some surgery, and then from far back it doesn't really show too much, so he'll definitely be at the very back of the shelf. So yeah, I think that might be it. Oh no, there was a couple other things over here, not much though. So there was this dude from House of the Dead. He was £10, didn't come with any of his accessories, but did come with this little sleeve piece. I looked online when I got home, someone was selling them for sort of £6-7 each with all the bits, so I bought the rest of the set, or at least what that seller had. There was some Ghostbusters too, sticker cards, gun packs. I think they were £3 each, and that fella also had some Battle Beasts, so I bought a Panda one, but I've currently given it away, so I can't show it to you. These were in a box of 3 for a £5. I didn't know that till I'd rummaged through and picked out a couple of bits, but I don't know what this really heavy metal fella's from. His leg wasn't in there, or his arms, which is a real shame. But this is the penguin that needs a rocket launcher backpack, and obviously trash bag bunch. So always happy to find trash bag bunches. And I think that was everything from the toy fair, guys. As I say, it was quite expensive, but I was still pleased with what I've got. So yeah, it was a good day all in all. I'd recommend the NEC Toy Fair to anyone who collects, obviously even for me who likes bootlegs and more modern toys and small weird things and whatnot. I mean, it was a good event for me. So I think if you were into any other type of toys, you'd probably love it as well. Right, where do we start next? Okay, let's do the trade stuff. So a little while back I started arranging a trade with a guy I know from the Carboot sale. He's a lovely fella. It takes me ages to get around to doing anything like it does videos nowadays. But we were looking to trade a load of Warriors of Kerrang. So he took away a load of stuff the time before I saw him, and I went back with a few other pieces. We got the Warriors of Kerrang, this really cool alien that looks like it's melting from something, and this which he had listed on eBay, which I purchased and sent him a message, and then he said, dude, it's me. So yeah, we went round and just did this as part of the trade. Mad balls fella there. I bought this head like the week before, so it was a bit gutting, but I really body to go as well. So I was chuffed with that. And he also had us printing Preacher comics. Take them all, they're probably quite valuable, so I just took ones with beautiful cover art that I might end up framing. That's the angel and the demon there. Cassidy, when he's being held hostage there. And a beautiful cover there of Cassidy. I mean, it's like the church. Again, all first printing, and then the Cassidy special, Blood and Whiskey. I don't know if that's a first print or not. Either way, I just really like the cover art, and I want to be as fair as possible with him. So we just traded a few bits for a few bits. So that was my trade. Then charity shop stuff. This is probably the first time I found anything in a charity shop in my local area. Had this shredder with cape and belt, and I tried to show the lady behind the counter how excited I was to find him in this condition with all his pieces, and she didn't seem to understand why. I asked if she could look out the back for any more, and she said there was nothing like that out the back, so I left. I was walking home thinking, well, there's not really any other toys like Splinter. He's horrendously anorexically skinny in the middle with all this other weirdness going on, so I went back the next day and said, did she have any other toys? And she came back and just said no. So we pushed her further. Did she have any weapons? Was there any plastic at the bottom of the box that could have gone with it? Eventually she just let me look in the box. Wasn't very much else there. It's more modern crap. But she did pull this out first and said, all I've got is this thing, but it's more like a cap gun. Well, at first I couldn't tell what it was. It wasn't until I had it in my hand that I was like, oh, it's Robocop, isn't it? So she thinks that here this opens up somehow and you can put caps in, but it's all rusted on the inside, so I don't think it would work. But underneath it does say 1989 Kenner, so I think it is Robocop if I'm not badly mistaken, but it is very cool. That's definitely going on the shelf, so it's definitely worth asking. The only other two things she had was this baby from Jim Henderson's Dinosaurs, and also this thing, which initially I thought, God knows, Star Wars me. When we had a better look, it was Star Wars. It's got a sticker on from a different charity shop, and the other charity shop has it as 75p. So they just said, well, it must be the standard price for toys. So all the items are 75p each. So all three of them are 75p. £2.25 for the three today, and 95p for the one yesterday. So all in all, we spent about £3.20 and got these four really cool toys. Then we went to another charity shop round the corner. I've never seen anything of any worth in there. It doesn't seem like the stock ever changes in there at all. However, we went in there, we had a look around, and there was a sticker sheet. Oh, we don't know where I've put it at the minute. But there was a sticker sheet from some video game that I've never seen before. I've taken all the prices off of them. But anyway, I pulled one out, and the one that was sticking off the top was this Wolverine comic. And it's just one comic, and it had a sticker saying 99p. So I thought, well, we're not buying that for 99p. But there were some other ones where there was 2 or 3 comics inside each folder and had 99p stickers on. So I started thinking, well, if I can get, 2, then they're 50p. I'm happy to pay 50p a comic at most. Some of them had like 4 or 5 in, so I was like, well, if I get the ones with the 2s and the ones with the 5s, this will balance out to about 20, 30p a comic. So I picked up all the ones that were like double packs. Some of them, like I say, have 3 or 4 in there. Some are more modern, some were a bit old. They also had some of these collector and model mart magazines, which I've never really picked up before or been that interested in. But there was 1 or 2 of them that took my fancy, so I think I pulled, was it this one? The one with ET on the front. I think I pulled that one out and thought we'd have that one for £1. And so yeah, we took them up to the till. I think we had maybe something like 6 packs, 7 packs, and I was like, well, I'll see if we can get it down to a £5 and argue with her at the till. We got there and she was like, oh, that'll be £1.40. So I don't know what price she thought these were, but I just said to her, we'll go back, we'll get all the rest of them. We just bought all the magazines they had, and it ended up being £3 exactly. I don't know what she counted, but I can't really go wrong. So there was this weird Star Wars one, it looks a bit more modern and tacky and not very exciting. A Shrek 2 sticker album, again not very exciting. Model Mart Price Raider, sorry. An individual Spider-Man. There's Transformer Armada. This is the first 3 comics, all first issue printings. Don't seem to go for that much, but it's got a cool fold-out cover on the first one. There's a couple of Iron Man comics in there. I think they're the early 90s ones. A couple of old school Wolverine comics. About 5 Judge Dredd. I think one of them's the very first Judge Dredd, but even that doesn't seem to go for very much. A couple of Revenge of the Sinister Six. I think there's like parts 2, 3 and 4, but we're missing part 1. Another Wolverine. A couple of WWF magazines, one of Taz, and a couple with Lita fold out posters inside that someone hasn't removed, surprisingly. And again, another collector's mark. So yeah, all in all the comics and those 4 cool toys cost me about £5. So I was really chuffed. I've not found anything in any of the local charity shops. Whenever you see me do charity shop videos before, it's because I'm going for miles and checking loads of shops and still finding nothing. But yeah, the local ones came up trumps. And the toys that from now on, anything they find that they think I'm interested in, they put in a big box with my name on, and once a week I get to go rummage through and tell them what I want and what they can sell on the shelves for what price. So yeah, that's really cool. Anyway, let's get on to the Carboot haul stuff. So turns out to be a lovely day. Didn't expect it to be, thought it was going to rain, so went to the faraway boot sale. First thing we found was these Famicom games. I asked her how much they were, and she said they were all individually priced. Things like £4 on the Donkey Kong, £2 on this one that you can't read. And I said, was there any movement on price? And she said, oh, she'd knocked £2 off, so these eventually became £2.50 each. It was only after I bought them she told me how, if I'd been here an hour ago, there were hundreds of them and people had been buying up all sorts of ones. So yeah, obviously all the good ones were gone. Those ones are pretty much worthless. Saw the fella who sold me the really cool Thundercats the other day. He had this guy. Couldn't remember if I had him or not, but he gave him to me for £1, so we took him away anyway. That was probably the only retro toy that we really found. Well, a couple others maybe, but yeah, they're bugger all at the boot sale. Got this guy £3. It's obviously some Marvel character of a vampire who I forget the name of now. But you push this down, his jaw opens. He also has a little bat kicking around somewhere that I can't find. Found this dude who's from Dragon Ball Z. Again, he's more in size range of the one we picked up at the other place, I think. Don't know, he might be a McDonald's toy for all I know, but he seems very well made. And as I say, I've only ever seen small versions before, so we picked him up for 50p. Got this in a deal with 3 toy cars. So it was 4 items for £1. I just wanted the Milo. I gave the toy cars to someone I know who collects those type of things. So yeah, got a cool little Milo to go with the mask stuff on the shelf. My girlfriend came with me and she picked up some cool stuff. This Sewer Skater Turtles badge, this Ghostbusters Save New York badge, and this badge which has me really puzzled. It says 1989 Columbia Pictures, has the Ghostbuster logo, but it also says Activision, which makes me think it's a tie into a game they did. But even the thing feels old and rusted at the back, so I can't see how it is an old one. Or how was Activision ever involved with Ghostbusters prior to their new game? I don't know, maybe they had another game that I've forgotten about. And she also found this solid die-cast Spider-Man, who's got quite a lot of articulation considering he's completely made of metal. But yeah, he was really cool. What else did we get from the car boot sale? Saw some fella who must live quite local to me, because I've seen him posting on Toy Trader, and he gave me a heads up about local car boot. Now I see him quite a lot and get some cool stuff of him. These were £2 each. This is the dog from Gargoyles. Go on the Gargoyle shelf. We got this dude from Ghostbusters. I think his name's Louis or Lewis. I don't have him. And this old school Punisher as well. I think that must be one of the Toy Biz ones. So they were £2 each. So that was £6. He also had this, which I was just really drawn to. The face looks like Secors, but then it looks like Battle of the Planets handlebars. It's obviously missing quite a lot of bits. Its tail, its wings, it's beaten up. Took me all of 5 minutes to find out it was some like knockoff He-Man Secators toy from way back when. This is 1986, Sun AI plastic. But yeah, I really like that. That's going to go up on the shelf, even if it's real beat up. You don't see anything like that very often. That's a pretty cool vehicle to come across. Found this beat up, demolished Spider-Man bike from the 1960s or 70s, I would assume. 1978 perhaps. Needs a real good clean, but yeah, you don't see many Spider-Man bikes like that, so I think if that cleans up nice, it'll go on the shelf with a Spider-Man riding on it. Got this guy, which I can't remember if it's one of the old school ones or the new school ones. It's definitely a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Mouser, but I can't find any date on it at all. I think maybe you got a few of these. I have a feeling that the small ones are the more modern ones and that the bigger ones are the retro ones, but this is more in keeping with the size they are, so this will display nicely on the shelf. Only downside is if you look inside its mouth there, I don't know if you can make that out, but there's something like a Rice Krispie or something that's just getting mouldier and mouldier at the back. Looks minging, so we've got to clean that out a bit before it goes on display. Oops, sorry, it's my knee and elbow. Same toy guy had these two games that I thought the lady might play with me on the Wii. We found Mario Kart on the Wii for £1 as well. It contains two of these driving stick things. That wasn't a bad price. Same people who had this also had this big lot of Playmobil. They said it was £3 a set, and the sets were things like, oh, there was a zoo bit, and there was this, and there was that. I looked at it, and it did seem pretty good value for money. There was lots of figures with it and everything, so I bought 3 sets from them for £9 and the game for £1. So I paid them £10, and it was only when I got home and I've looked in the bag that they've like taken out all the figures and whatnot, or given me like 1 figure per set, and they must have just kept all the other ones and sold them on like separately, whereas I assumed that they meant they in the set. So I won't bother showing you too much of this Playmobil. I'll move the camera. Apologies if you get a bit seasick. So yeah, there was 3 play sets. Some other bits got rubbish, but yeah, I don't know. It's probably not a bad deal. I just thought it was a good deal, and looking back, it was probably only an okay deal. Anyway, last thing I got was very late at the second car boot sale, and we came across this. One of the Star Wars toys missing everything. It is just battered and beaten up, though it is one of the original ones from the 1980s. I think it may just be completely worthless because it's so broken. It does have a canopy flap there that looks like it might open up, have something inside. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's missing everything. She also had this bag of parts that came with it, and when I asked her how much, she said people had been asking her about it all day, but whenever she told them the price, they wouldn't buy it. So I just thought, oh, here we go, it's going to be a tenner, isn't it? And she said, but no one's going to buy it at the price I want, so why don't you say £2, but you're having a real bargain. So I bet everyone tried buying it all day, and she wasn't going to sell it for less than a tenner or something. Anyway, this is one of the other vehicle pieces. Again, it's probably missing some bits, but that might be useful to someone. There's this piece here. Again, I don't really know what it's from in the Star Wars toy line, but it's obviously a bit that must come off and get lost quite a lot. You have this, which is like a seat panel, maybe from a TIE Fighter or the Millennium Falcon or something. This, which is the cover of maybe some sort of pod or ship. I think I've got one of these somewhere. this thing, maybe that goes in the middle of the, I don't know, Millennium Falcon. I don't know what that one is either. And this bit, which I couldn't figure out what the hell that was either, but from looking on the inside of here, it might just be identical to the seating thing in there. So yeah, I got the bag with those 5 accessory pieces for you could probably sell this thing off for £2 by itself, and those individual bits you might get a couple of quid for. Do feel like bits of this may be able to come up, and oh, there we go, it does. It reveals a corroded battery pack with nothing else in. Beautiful. But maybe people lose this cover piece, maybe that's worth £2. I don't know, it feels very heavy for what it is, but then it's got all the mechanics to make it light up or whatever, but they look like they've been ripped out. Anyway, that was the last purchase. So yeah, I feel like I had some really good points there. Those awesome bootleg toys and whatnot, and the trade I think was really cool. Got some Madball stuff and some Preacher comics. So yeah, there's some cool stuff for the toy room shelves. Yeah, Carboot wasn't all that, but still, that's my video. There'll be another one coming soon, hopefully, guys. That'll be this week's Carboot haul, and possibly a lot of stuff that I bought off of eBay as well, because I've been on a bit of an eBay binge, so we'll show you all that cool stuff too. But anyway, ta-ra for now.